Hey y'all, what's going on? Let me do a little housekeeping real quick here. Hope you guys are doing okay. I hope your week is going well. I hope you're having a super beneficial type of uh experience. I know that a lot of people are having a little bit of doubt in their mind, and for me, it's never but understanding what you're reading. Like for me, that's where I always rely back to is the strong points of, hey, what you're reading, you understand. You can, you know, go to that when you need to, and you can fully really register. I just posted it on Facebook. Sorry, y'all, but you can understand that what's going on is a benefit. I mean, it's even to the point where you can almost say that, hey, look, even what happened in Afghanistan is going to be something that happens. We should not occupy countries. I'm going to say this again. We should not occupy countries and then call them sovereign. Okay? Just saying. So I hope each and every one of you guys is having an awesome evening. Hey, Paul. Hey, Wanda. Hey, Denise. Hey, Eric. Hey, R. Rich. What's up, D. Holla, Patricia, Ernest? Hope you guys are all having a fabulous evening. I hope everybody's having the best evening they possibly can. And I also pray and hope that you find solace in what you're doing, because what you're doing is being steadfast. And I think a lot of people mistake religion for being religious. And I'm just telling you guys that, you know, uh, there's a lot of great things that are happening in the Middle East that, like a friend of mine said, I think it was Alfred said, he said, if you take your eyes, a great magician can make you look from one hand to the other. And I think that's what's really happening right now, especially for geopolitics in the Middle East. And everybody's not watching Washington, and everybody should be watching Washington, and they're not. And it has nothing to do with what Joe Biden's doing with Afghanistan. Just telling you now. Hey Josie, hey Regina, hey Malcolm, hey Sam, hey Terry. Okay, you guys know the rules. It's 7 o'clock. We're gonna give it exactly probably 2 minutes. We're gonna give it 2 minutes, and then I'm gonna get in all this news, and we're gonna have a discussion, and I'm gonna give you some my unbiased subjective opinion about some things, and then we're gonna keep it pushing, because I'm telling you, there's only so many good things you can say in a row before it actually sounds like a broken record. We're doing great, Vicky. Thanks for asking. Yeah, thank you for telling me I passed my exam. Yeah, passed my security exam. I told you guys I'm waiting for the final onboarding with some people. And, hey, I think that if you're going to be in this, you got to walk the walk, and you got to talk the talk a little bit too. Hey, Shanta. Good to see you, Shanta. That's my family right there. So we're 1 minute down. We got 1 minute to go, okay? We've got, man, 53 people in here. It looks like to be about 20 likes. Please, you guys, like the videos if you like them. If you don't like them, I understand. But if you like the videos, please give it a like. The reason why it helps with the algorithm, Facebook be hating. Like, they didn't even monetize the last video. I don't even remember what I said. That was all that bad, but it happens. I don't even care. I'm not doing these videos for money. I'm doing these videos because actually people need to hear the actual things that are happening going on over there. And I'm trying to give you that, okay? So it's not, trust me, YouTube won't make you rich, okay? Trust and believe in that. Okay, we're 2 minutes in. Let's do this, okay? We got 60 people in here, a little short of our 100, but that's okay. We're gonna build back up to that. So on the 16th, the Minister of Finance gave an announcement or an article. He did an article with somebody, and he confirmed the Iraqi government has put the economic reality on the right track through the white paper. In a statement to the General Secretary of the Council of Ministers, the Iraqi government has aimed through the white paper to put the economic reality on a path that allows it to stake the appropriate measures to develop it in a dynamic and diversified economy. That creates real opportunities for a decent life for the citizens. Now, I'm going to stop right there. I've watched over the last probably, let's say, 5 years on YouTube, but I've watched several people give their rendition of what's going on in Iraq, and they always mix it with a political flair. I never liked that, or a religious flair. I never liked that either. I think that you have to look at this like you would look at any investment. You've got to measure your risk. Only put in what you can afford to lose. Even though you're not losing, you're just not going to exchange it for the same thing that you bought in for. And then, of course, understand what the news is saying so that you can go ahead and go forward. When they tell you articles like I just read to you there, I think that people really have to buy into the fact that the Iraqi government's really set on doing these white papers. The white papers are the economic reforms. The economic reforms, if you look at them in the white papers, the top 5 things for them to do is change the value of the Iraqi dinar to represent the realistic value of the Iraqi economy, the people, the country, blah, blah, blah. Now, that's not me saying something that's falsified. That's telling you exactly what the Iraqi news circulation tells you all the time. It says the council aims to support and strengthen the economic relations and increase the volume of business between the Republic of Iraq and Saudi Arabia as well as the rest of the region. A joint business council was formed. Now, you got to think about this. Isn't it so unique and so rare that Iraq all of a sudden, and I said this in the title, Iraq's becoming a power broker in the Middle East. They are not Afghanistan. I'm going to say that now. It's going to draw a lot of controversy. Afghanistan, I'm sorry, they just didn't have the political. That's why, when people bet on currencies, Afghan was not one I really bet on. Nor did I really jump on that train because it's kind of like Zimbabwe. When you have haphazard government or you have unstructured infrastructure, especially when you're going to the political realm or especially when you're going to the banking realm. Forget politics. Let's just say banking. People buying in, people having faith behind currency. Those countries demonstrate not only a lack of truly buying in and making the people feel oh so comfortable and good, they have the creepy feeling of always allowing people to feel like something was left. But Iraq, on the other hand, and I'm not trying to pump up Iraq to be better than or whatever. They're more studied. It's more of a focal point. But what I'm going to say is that with the purse murderers, with the Iraqi army, with the NATO troops there, I don't see ISIS taking over that country, just like they did over there in the other space. Now, with that, I want you guys to honestly think about this, which is inflation. Inflations are rising in all countries and varying between one country to another. And this is in emerging cultures or emerging cultures and in developed and sustainable countries. He added that the change of the exchange rate of the dollar, inflation rates increased more than it was before, and that change was somewhere about between half and 1%. He went on to say that inflation rose by 8%, which is an average for a country like Iraq. So when you hear about where they set the valuation of the Iraqi dinar and how you look at inflation, those two things go hand in hand. Okay? So when you hear inflation and inflation rose, well, what happened successively with that? They rose the price of the dinar against the dollar. It went higher, about 20% higher. So understand that when you raise the dinar against the dollar while it's pegged, you actually hurt the country as far as inflation is concerned and other monetary metrics that are actually happening real time within the country because they're suffering within the marketplace. Six Union said in a statement, the launch of a national campaign on the auspices of the central bank to raise the awareness to support the national currency and the Iraqi economy. Remember, one of the things that if you want to have a country that is beyond resolve, they have to have a currency that the people rally behind. They have to have a faith in the media system. They have to have a faith in the currency. They have to have some economic prowess to where they do something that somebody else doesn't do or doesn't do as well as they do. And they also have to make sure that they have a strong political infrastructure with, let's say, conservatives and liberals inside of it. Yeah, I do remember that, Donna, as you mentioned it right there. But we're not, that's, I don't want to touch on that just yet, but I'm getting there. The campaign aims to shed light on the importance of dealing with the national currency and increasing the citizens' confidence. Now, remember, just a second ago, I told you one of the things that you have to have within a national infrastructure of a country is a belief system within the currency. If you don't believe the currency is the top tier that works inside of your country, it's going to suffer on a market as well as international or whatever level you want to talk about. It's fundamental at that point. Okay? So, to keep the inflation at a low rate and reducing poverty through the entry of Iraqi and foreign investors to work inside the country, this will lead to increasing the services provided to the citizens, and this is fully reflective and positive on the country. That is BAM. Because that's what I'm telling you. Holding the currency at a negative value for so long doesn't do anything for the country or the inflationary metrics or anything else that goes to making towards a positive towards the citizen. Lowering the actual dinar to dollar rate does. The implementation of the strategic planning committee that Iraq will implement the Chinese agreements that were implemented. Now, remember, I think I said it last week. There was a lot of hesitation about Iraq going into business with China because of restrictions. The implementation of the Chinese Iraq agreement will transfer Iraq to the ranks of countries with great economic power. Boom. Especially when the Fawa port and the dry canal are completed, which will be the Iraq's beginning to the Silk Road. See, there's a greater plan to Iraq than just beyond the currency revaluation or reinstatement, however you want to look at it. I'm not going to argue semantics right now. But there's an actual, truly, a metaphorical stance that's happening within countries right now that everybody's talking about with Iraqis saying, oh my gosh, man, they're going to be the hub for the Silk Road. Yeah, they're the ones organizing the summit. They're the ones that are making power broker moves within the region. Yes, they are. Why would you do that for a currency that's undervalued? And it can't take 3 to 5 years. Can't support that. Just cannot. Because look, well, the rate's higher against the dollar, guess what happens? You got inflation. So do you want to be inflation ridden, which leads to hyperinflation, which leads to bigger notes than what you got? Or do you want to rip the Band-Aid off, pay off Kuwait, and actually do what the country was meant to do for the last 25 years or 20 years? And I'm not even trying to pump it up. I'm not trying to sell you. By definition, if you're watching this video, hook or crook, whatever, you've bought into the dinar. You're a believer. Or you're at least a believer in the investment that you put forward. So by definition at that point, I don't have to pump you up for your own pleasure about your investment. The news is out there for everybody to read or interpret. But if you do, just make sure your interpretation is, thank you, Dr. Ed, is in balance with what you're reading. Okay? I think extremism can go both directions. Good and bad. Okay? So let's not go there. But the governor of the Central Bank of Iraq discussed a higher national strategic committee for financial inclusion. But people, a lot of people may not even know what financial inclusion means. Financial inclusion is basically everybody buys in, everybody does what's right, everybody uses the currency, no MCP, all those type of things. And that's what's recently, and that's what's really been a push right now inside of Iraq to get people to buy into national collusion. And that just means buy into backing the currency. It's very difficult, though, to buy into the currency if you're a citizen or an outside investor because the government hasn't bought in. And I'm going to show you in a few minutes, and I can really just go off the cuff from here. They have already drawn not only attention visibly within the region, they've also drawn interest within nations about investment in Iraq. And that's true. You see that with France. You see that with the people in the region. You see them trying to develop their own alternatives to oil and gas. You see them trying to do that with partnerships upon borders and border crossings. I mean, these are things that are rudimentary happening on an everyday basis that if you watch or read anything about Iraq on any of the news publications, you will see happening day to day to day to day to day to day to day. What's different from what I'm saying is that if you actually read the white paper and then read the articles are saying, oh, you're right about this. However, we're not going to really do any economic reforms for 3 to 5 years. That's actually not true. That's what the white paper says. No person of any governance, the central bank governor, not the minister of finance, none of them actually ever come out. Just people basically giving their opinion. And their opinion is no more valued than mine, as it is yours, or is in the people of Iraq. But however, I can explain to you and tell you why I think they're saying 5 years. They're saying 5 years because that's what the white paper says. You don't mix and mingle with bad company, right? So, like, Iraq's about to open their border crossings with Kuwait and Saudi, and you can view them however you want based upon your own political position or your own geographical belief about people, about what's happening with the Saudis, the Kuwaits. It's not for me to discuss. Honestly, if you're going to have a discussion about that, let's take all that out of it and let's actually just look at it from a pure, when people cross over the border, it's a dollar one way or the other, or a dinar one way or the other. If you looked at what they collected within the taxes and ports last year during a pandemic, you would say that, damn, opening up that border crossing is not only a beneficial thing, it's a thing that we need to say happen, and we also need to see the American forces leave and the reaction of the Taliban. Yeah, and I'm telling you why. Because if Afghanistan was a trial run. Think about it. If you're ISIS and you're watching the Taliban, you're going, oh man, I'm licking my chops. America's about to leave. Oh, okay, great. We're about to get us a free country. This is going to be awesome. But they're about to get met with a whole disgruntled amount of young people inside of the country that have something to win or lose because they're betting on their sovereignty to get them to a security level within the economic framework of the region as well as internationally, with China's help being the Silk Road, that's going to carry them to prosperity. That, you know what, whatever it is at that point, you have to applaud them. You've got to actually stand up and sit there and say, you know what, yeah, it's been 20 years, but you know what, it's been 20 years since people invested in a lot of things that they're just now getting paid off on, including Amazon, Apple. I remember when people joked about Netflix. And look at those FANG today. You know, people want to say, hey, look, this can't happen. It didn't happen because it didn't happen, but that doesn't mean it ain't going to happen. What's going to happen is things are going to go forward. By succession, they got to pay them off. Whether it's in October or whether it's at the end of the year, it doesn't really matter. They're going to pay them off. Then Iraq will be in a position that, as some as you guys like to say, the linchpin or the actual, whatever, at that point you can sit there and say to yourself, yeah, now whatever's about to go down is about to go down. I don't know about the cut or what's going on hold. I can tell you. I'm trying to catch up to the notes. There's a lot of rebuilding happening. Um, on Wednesday, there was the 18th session of the committee for preparing for the strategy to the budget for medium term 2022 or 2024. So Megan and I were discussing this on the phone yesterday, and she was like, "Well, why would they do this? Because see, I really think it's like this. See, this new government not the government that's there right now. They don't want to push the ball over the goal line. They don't want to put the ball over the goal. They want to get them all the way up to where they can score and then drop the ball and say, look, whatever these new kids do or whatever these new government does, whatever the philosophy, the ideology of this new government, they're going to do whatever they want to do. Okay? And with that, they're saying if they screw up, they screw up. If it works, then look, we laid the framework and gave them a strategy as far as budgetary, infrastructure. We arrested politicians. We did all these things. So when people tell me that nothing's happening, I tell them that you're just simply not reading the news. And within everything on top of that, in the news daily is something about the white paper, pointing out the importance of raising the indicators of non-oil revenues. If you've read the white paper, then you fully understand that part of it states in the first five things is the actual value of the Iraqi dinar. So as you're watching this, and look, guys, we got 103, 4 people on here. Can't we get 60, 70 likes? Can we get some likes, help some people out? Let some people be aware of what's happening. If you like this content, just give it a little love. Sam, you're on a roller coaster because you're on a roller coaster. There's no roller coaster for me. I don't go up. I don't go down. I read the news. I decipher it. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I read the news. I decipher it. And guess what I do? I go on about my day. I make other investments. I do other things that are going to carry me to my next point. Iraq is not my sole being. And that's why if you haven't joined the Noble Institution, I know the website's been a little wonky, but join the Noble Institution and get you some investment ideas. And then you're to blame if you don't invest or you don't read, or you want someone else to do it for you. I don't look to other people to help me succeed. I look at me to succeed as the person that leads my household. And even if you're not the inherent leader, let's just say you're someone that's just going by, then you know what you're going to say? I'm investing this because my future, my family wants this. Have a goal in mind. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Sam. No, it wouldn't be the politicians' benefit to reinstate. Because what's going to happen is that currency is going to reinstate. And then what's going to happen is with that newfound wealth, a lot of those old politicians are going to move to other places. You saw where the Afghan government sought refuge inside of the UAE. You're going to see people seek refuge all over the place. So no, I don't think so. I don't think those people want the print every day that Nuri al-Maliki left. I don't think they want that in the news. I think we've gotten enough. I'm leaving a little bit of news out, but not for any reason other than to tell you that there are very great things happening inside of Iraq. There are things that are happening that you and I maybe not be totally privy to or understand what's happening. But I think that you have to kind of look at it from the positive as opposed to the negative and say everything's pointing towards October about them doing something. And when they get to October, then you and I can make a decision about what's really happening based upon the new and fair elections. Because that's what the government said, that's what the white papers say, that's what everything's going on inside of the country right now. So before you jump ship, and I know months have gone by and people are frustrated and tired, but I'm just saying to you, if you knew they had the winning lottery ticket, would you throw all your lottery tickets away just because you're having to wait? Have faith. Yeah, I don't feel like jumping and screaming and all this and that tonight. I feel like just giving you what I know on an honest feeling, and let's just let it go from there. Because I have total faith in what's happening with Iraq right now. They're in a very good place. Very good place. And with the U.S. withdrawal, to see how they react to ISIS is going to shock the world. And they will be that brokering power within the region that's going to set the world ablaze. Watch. It's going to make a lot of people a lot of money. It's also going to cost people a lot of money. But you know what? So goes life. Yeah. You guys have a blessed night, a blessed weekend. The best is yet to come. Don't count anything out. Sit back, be mindful, and be still. Read the news. And I'll see you on Thursday. And by the way, next Thursday I got a little business out of town. If I don't do a show, it's only because I'm out of town. I am bringing my equipment with me to do one just in case. But if I don't do it next Thursday, just know I was not in Houston. Or I was away from Houston for a few hours and I just didn't have a chance to come back. With that, you guys, I hope you have a more than great weekend. And I wish you thank you for tuning in and staying this full 20 something minutes. I hope you guys have a blessed day. And I hope you guys also understand, don't be sniop. It's accessible to negative influence of others. Keep your head up. Know that you're loved. Know that you're appreciated. And I'll see you guys on the flip side.